Hello, welcome back to the podcast, Journey to Well. I'm Hannah. Today we get to talk about breath work. So today is one of my favorite days. I had the honor of experiencing Tabitha's breathwork journey and also giving her a somatic breathwork journey. So this conversation is really coming from an experiential place, which is probably one of my favorite conversations to have rather than talking about a topic. We get to talk about our experience with it and our somatic felt sense of it. So today I am joined by Tabatha Debruyn. She is a transformational breath master. She's also a coach. We have a lot of kind of similarities in our approaches, in our breathwork styles, in our coaching styles. So I'm really excited for the conversation all about mastering your breath and using breath as a somatic tool, which I would love to get into. Like, what does somatic tools mean? What are they? Why are they beneficial? So we have lots to talk about today. But first of all, Tabitha, I would like to thank you for coming on the podcast and really give you an opportunity to share who we're learning from today. Who is Tabitha?
Well, thank you so much for having me. And thank you for being that compassionate witness and sharing your talents with me. It was an extraordinary experience.
Likewise.
My name is Tabatha Debruyn, and I'm a transformational breath master. And what does that mean? I teach simple breath patterns to help people realize how powerful their breath can be to change the state in the body, but also the state in the mind, both the conscious mind as well as the subconscious mind. So sometimes I'm just teaching people how to be able to down regulate so they can get grounded, so they can come from an aligned state. And other times I'm looking to change the state in the body and to activate to help them be more confident and charismatic and motivated to do the things they really want to in life. And then because I also do 9D breath work, which is breath work with an intricate soundscape using several different modalities, we can go deep into the subconscious mind when it comes to people that really want to do deeper healing, somatic healing, using the breath, but also allowing the soundscape to help people drop in faster. If it's big T trauma, little t trauma, human optimization, or addictions to all sorts of things. So there's a lot of different ways that I help people really feel good in their body and in their mind, but optimize the joy and the results that they're looking to manifest in their life as well.
Mm. One of my favorite things about breathwork is first of all, everyone breathes, right? And everyone also thinks that they breathe wrong. When I say that I'm a breathwork practitioner, there's like, oh shoot, I'm probably breathing wrong. Like, no, you're not. But that you can use breathwork in so many different modalities. Like you're saying, you can use it. I love your approach and you diving into helping it with addiction, using breathwork with people that struggle with addiction, but also optimization and also dealing with trauma. Like breathwork can have such a wide breadth of help and support, and I think that that's one of the probably my favorite things about breathwork in general. I really want to get into my experience with 9D, but first, I'm very curious if you can share a little bit about how has breathwork changed your life? Like why did you get into it, but why even listen to this podcast? We hear breathwork all the time now. I think it's a pretty popular modality. I would call it a pretty popular somatic tool. But for people that have heard that term but have not really tried breathwork or maybe have just done a little bit of box breathing or something, why use breathwork? Why has it been that tool that you now share with the world?
Breathwork has changed every part of my life,
Hmm.
from my relationship with self, the peace that I have in my body. When I found somatic breathwork, I was dealing with functional depression. And I wasn't letting anyone else know because I was the transformational coach with all of the modalities that I was able to be the compassionate witness who had the tools who could support somebody through these
Mm.
ailments that they were struggling with. And it was after my mom passed. I had been a caretaker for her for about 10 years. She became very ill at 58 years old, and it was very surprising to our family. So there was a lot of anxiety, PTSD that was around that. And so I've always been interested in developing as many tools to be able to hold space and help those around me. But I'm also an entrepreneur. I have two different businesses, transformational coaching, and I'm also an online health and wellness entrepreneur as well. And I was teaching many startup entrepreneurs how to build really successful businesses. And I was noticing that they had a lot of limiting beliefs that weren't in their conscious mind so much, that were in their subconscious mind.
Mm.
So I've always been very intrigued by the subconscious mind. And I actually am a rapid transformational hypnotic therapist as well. So the two come together because when I was really struggling with panic attacks and insomnia, and what I didn't know was suppressed anger, frustration, resentment, guilt, shame that came out through the somatic breath work, that had been repressed through the whole 10 years and probably earlier with my mom.
Mm.
Um, I realized that if I could use breath and working with the subconscious mind together, we could release things that didn't want to sit in my body anymore. So, to answer your question, how did breath change my life? The first somatic breath work session I did, I was able to sleep that night and my hands weren't going numb anymore. But on the other side of a somatic breathwork journey, of course, the more you do, the more you peel back. But I had felt peace like I'd not felt in years in my body. My relationship with my mom, though she had passed in this breathwork session, I feel like I had a connection and an understanding that everything had happened for me. If I didn't know the depths that people can feel if they are experiencing anxiety, depression, burnout, I wouldn't be able to know that this modality can really help people and it can be so powerful. But it's also helped in communication with people. If I'm aligned, people mirror my nervous system and they're more aligned. So we can communicate. They feel seen, heard, felt, and that is so important. It helped my marriage. Not only was I a healthier body because I was sleeping, my hormones were more regulated. I was more regulated rather than reacting. I was simply responding. I was able to take in more information and truly listen to him. And I know another area of conversation in some of your podcasts is sexual relations. And breath can take that to a whole new place as well. So ultimately, when I learned that breath can change the state of the body, your physiology, you can change your heart rate, your blood pressure, where the blood flow is going in the body. If I could realize that breath could do that, and then I would have a clearer mind and be able to reprogram my subconscious mind with more empowering beliefs, then yeah, I realized it can help in any area of my life.
Mm, I love that. It really does make a huge difference in all areas. And one of the things that I really appreciated about the breathwork journey that you brought me through was that kind of subconscious reprogramming. So I think that I've talked a decent amount about some of my breathwork journeys that I've gone through, either with the program that I'm trained under or other practitioners that are friends of mine. And this 90 breathwork, when I was reflecting on like what was kind of different about it, because breathwork is breathwork. But one of the things that I share is that we can use our breath in different modalities. And so like the breathwork that you bring people through and that I also bring people through is both of the different sides of our nervous system. So stimulating the parasympathetic nervous system and stimulating the sympathetic nervous system. If you've ever done like Wim Hof breath, that tends to be, from what I've understand and what I've done, all sympathetic nervous system. There's not a lot of parasympathetic nervous system stimulation. But the difference that I was reflecting on was I did feel like so much happened subconsciously that I've not still, and this we did this what, like a week or two ago, I've still not felt so much come up in the conscious. There is a few things for sure that I'm still processing, but that's one of my questions, I suppose, with hypnotherapy too, because I'm very interested in that. I had a hypnotherapist on the podcast a while back. If you're interested in that, you can scroll back probably like, I don't know, 2 or 3 months ago. Gnosis, Gnosis therapy, I believe, hypnotherapy. Um, how does the subconscious play into this? And is there ever for you, is there that overlap of like the subconscious coming into the conscious, or does a lot of stuff just kind of stay subconscious?
That is a loaded question, and I love it. So I'm going to take it piece by piece. So you have your conscious brain. Your conscious brain is what you're aware of. And we have the same thoughts over and over and over again. We are creatures of habit. And then your subconscious brain, it really makes about 95% of our brain power.
Mm.
So what goes in the subconscious is anything that we don't deem important. So I'm just going to go and talk because I love to back it in science.
Yeah.
And if your listeners have not heard of the reticular activating system, I really want to explain this because the moment you realize how powerful your thoughts are in your overall life, how you feel in your body, what you're thinking about, what you notice, what you manifest, and the opportunities that open up to you are really connected to your reticular activating system. It's a filter in the brain. I like to describe it like it's a secretary. Anything important that's coming in, your secretary filters what's really important, puts it into your conscious brain so you can be aware of it. And everything else goes into the subconscious brain. And the best way for me to explain this, as long as you're not driving, if you could all play with me for a second, I'll have you take a really good look around your room. And I want you to look and I want you to find as many red things as possible. Red is really important. Like look in the family of red, anything you're counting up every single red thing. Red's really important. Have you got some red things that you can
A
remember?
couple.
You've
A couple.
counted in your mind? Now,
Hmm.
if you can close your eyes, how many blue things do you remember? This is usually where people check a little bit. Can you think of any?
No.
So I'm wearing a blue shirt,
Oh,
right?
duh,
And
you.
now the reason I say that is because we take in millions of bits of information at a time. And we'd go kind of crazy if you had to process all of that information. So the brain is so brilliant, and this is automated. The brain is filtering out what's important and putting it into your conscious mind, and everything else is going into your subconscious mind. Now, what becomes important are what you repeat, what you think about, what you listen to, and what you bring emotion to.
Mhm.
So if you say wonderful things about yourself, I am smart, I am savvy, I'm good with money, I have opportunities come to me every single day, I'm surrounded by miracles, I love who I'm becoming. If these are the kinds of phrases that you're hearing, your brain is going to say and show you all day long where you're smart. It's going to validate it, where you're savvy, where you're good with money, where you problem solve really well. Anything you talk about and think about with emotion on repeat is going to program your conscious mind to become aware of that. And so all day long, you will see these opportunities. Now, to answer your question, why you would have felt that in the journey, you had me guiding with really strong neuro linguistic programming and repeating really powerful things. You did the letting go journey. So we were letting go of what no longer serves you. And we were bringing in the things that you really wanted to amplify in your life. So there was repetition. there was powerful music that evoked emotion. So we were locking that in, and we're bringing more and more of that into your conscious mind. If it was in your highest and best good, and that was your intention and it aligned with you, your conscious mind and your reticular activating system would be saying, yep, that's important. Now I see that. Now I see that. And that's probably why you're seeing and feeling a little bit more of that in your daily practice. But what's in your subconscious mind? We were letting go of what no longer served you. So we were literally unleashing, untangling, and using language that would have let that dissipate, keeping the wisdom. And we were bringing more of what you do want into that powerful language. So, do I find that it comes between the conscious and the subconscious? Yes. When I'm ready, when I'm open, and when I'm really clear about what I really want to see in my conscious mind. Did that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for explaining the reticular activating system because that's something I think that we can get forgetful of. I mean, these are things that I've learned. I've been on this journey for a long time, and these are things that I've learned, but you do kind of, right? We get stuck in the day to day, and then it's like, oh, what am I choosing to fill up with every single day? I was watching a TV show with my best friend the other night, and they were talking about a gratitude journal. And she was like, I think we should start gratitude journaling. And I don't know if she's ever done it before. It sounded like she hadn't, but I didn't ask. And so I actually had a gratitude journal that I gave her. And I was thinking about it as I was giving her the gratitude journal. And I'm like, man, yeah, I used to do like an actual gratitude journal every morning. This was years ago, but I haven't done that in a while. And what an important lesson or reminder of what are you choosing to wake up with? How are you choosing to program your thoughts and your mind? And so my question would be, what is the difference between like working with you, doing a breathwork journey and working on how I don't know. I also used to put like sticky notes on my mirror all the time, right? Of like affirmations. What is the difference, or are those the same thing?
I'm so glad you asked because I infused the entire journey that you did, and all of my journeys are infused with hypnotic scripts, which are subliminal messages that are open to the in the subconscious mind, so it continues to replay it. A lot of affirmations and a lot of gratitude. I was drawing from you, if you remember, sometimes you don't.
Mm-hmm.
And but I was drawing from you things you're grateful for. When you are grateful, it raises your energetic vibration. And when you're grateful, you attract more to be grateful for. So that's why sometimes people say, I came because I wanted to let go of a relationship or a frustration from my childhood or an addictive loop. But what I got was not only that, I have more hope. I'm starting to realize I'm capable of new things. I've got more confidence. I'm more charismatic in situations. And that's because we were combining the healing with the safety in the body. The breath is still the magic with the affirmations so we could program your reticular activating system. So
Mm-hmm.
they're all combined. 9D is one modality is the breath, the most important one. And then there are 8 other modalities in your ears. And I do a lot of my work online. And so you just tap in with a set of earbuds as you did, or in person. I have noise canceling headphones. And so there's binaural beats, which slow down the brain waves and allow you to drop into a meditative state. A meditative state with the breath pattern helps you become more suggestible to lock in those subconscious reprogrammings. But I also use music with particular frequencies and like I said, the subliminal messaging, the NLP, plus the guided coaching with particular themes as well. So there are 8 different modalities. If your listeners are curious, it's easier to experience it. It's
Yeah.
just I could talk about it, but it's not the same as experiencing it. If they go to my website and they sign up for my newsletter, they will get a 7-minute cinematic trailer explaining how 9D works and all of the different layers. and a 5 minute 9D breathwork reset as well.
Oh,
So
fun.
a way for them to really experience what I'm trying to explain.
I was just watching somebody talking, another breathwork practitioner, and they were saying the same thing. They're like, it's so hard to explain a breathwork journey and what you go through. Because one, every single journey is so different. So it's really hard to be like, oh, you will have so much come up and like all of these memories and you're going to relive situations or, oh, nothing's going to come. Like, and every single, that's why I love group breathwork journeys, especially. I think you and I talked about this, but because you get to witness so many different journeys all at once. And then when everyone comes out of it, I always hold space at the end of the container to share if you want to share anything that came up. And it's so, it just, I don't know, it warms my heart and tickles me every time someone shares and they're like, wow. And another participant is like, wow, I had a completely different experience. And how cool that we were able to experience that together in the same journey. And we're co-creating this energy together. And then, the repeat my repeat participants that they're like, yeah, this month was completely different and something completely different came up. And so I love that about breathwork. And it is very hard to explain. But my next question was going to be, how was the journey for you? How is the somatic breathwork journey that you went through? And how maybe any insights or any connections that you've made since I think we did that one a couple weeks ago too.
It was completely different, but I would say my favorite part is you as the facilitator. Your voice is beautiful. It put my system in safety right away, which allowed me to surrender. You created a safe container for me, not only to breathe really deeply, but also, as I mentioned, I feel like I was out of my body for a bit. I didn't feel like I had to stay in control. I was able to surrender and allow the wisdom of my body and your guidance to take me to my next level of healing. And the music was exquisite. But then the energy that you hold with your people as you facilitate is quite beautiful and calm. And then your integration process after allowed me to reach for what would be difficult to put words to and find some words so that I was able to actually kind of lock that understanding in and allow it to change me in my conscious mind. So that's it was the music was beautiful. Our breath practice is similar with down regulation, activation, down regulation, with the breath holds as well, similar in that. And it delighted me because I'm very aware of my practice.
Mm.
So there's no element of surprise. And I think as humans, the element of surprise and still feeling safe allows for massive evolution. So that
Mm.
was that's what was the biggest difference.
I love that. Thank you for sharing. And that was a very sweet compliment. So I appreciate it. Um, so when we're talking about down regulating, up regulating, one of the things that you shared that I really would love to chat about, I think you said something in the beginning about breathwork really giving you this opportunity to tune into the anger and frustration that maybe you have held for years before your mom got sick. Um, and I really want to have a conversation of the nervous system. What is the importance of teaching our body how we can downregulate ourselves, actually doing it ourselves, not taking a pill, not taking a medicine or a drug? And then what is the importance of teaching our bodies that we can upregulate ourselves as well?
So we take breath for granted because it's part of the automated nervous system. And yet we run at such a frenetic pace. We're asked to do more in less time. So we are noticing, and you said this earlier, and I loved it, is not that people are breathing wrong per se, but they're breathing in a certain way for too much time that they've not allowed their system to reset.
Wow.
And most people spend most of their waking hours in that fight, flight, freeze, but they're there so much that it's become their familiar. So when they don't feel like that, they feel like they're lazy or they've got to be doing something, or they start to go for the dopamine hit in different ways because, wait a minute, I'm usually feeling a little bit anxious.
Mm,
So I love to do is help people use just a simple breath pattern, scientifically proven it's the fastest way to change your state. And I'd like to say, like, breath can be a superpower in so many areas of your life. So you can do this if you're driving. This is amazing if you're frustrated with your partner and you don't want to lose your stack on them. It's incredible if you want to be really heard and understood in a meeting. So it's called the physiological sigh. If you take a deep breath in through the nose, and I really encourage your listeners to, and I know you've done a lot of breath work with them, so they probably are aware of breathing into their diaphragm, but sometimes we
yeah.
just need another reminder. You're going to breathe in through the nose, really deep into the belly, like you're inflating a balloon. Most people, when they breathe in, they pull in the abs nice and tight. They pull the shoulders up and they're stretched or stressed. But what we want to do is breathe in through the nose, deep into the belly, about 60%. And then you're going to take another sniff of air. And then you're going to relax with a long exhale through the mouth. And if you can, audibly sigh. We can't always do that. If you want to be discreet, you can. But if you audibly sigh with a long exhale through the mouth, you are going to notice a difference in your body. So I'd love for us all to do just one right now.
Mm,
I'll
please.
count you in 3, 2, 1. Take a deep breath in through the nose into the belly. Take another sniff of air. Inhale through the nose. And now relax audibly with a sound like you're vibrating through the mouth. Heart rate went down, blood pressure went down. And what I find fascinating is you have more blood flow to your prefrontal cortex. So
Mm,
your mind is now a little bit more clear. So just knowing that you can get it out of your fight, flight, freeze response, where most people live most of their days, into rest, digest, and heal at a time, just to let your body just calm and get back into alignment.
mm,
That's so important. But
mm,
sometimes we really do want to change our state. We're frustrated with ourselves. We're lacking motivation. We're going to reach for another coffee. Before you do that, try activating. Now, if you're pregnant or you have a contraindication, like you've just had surgery or you're prone to seizures, then we want to take this carefully. You really want to work with a trusted facilitator to teach you the breath patterns that are right for you.
mm,
But most people, if you do a light workout, you can do a few of these active breaths. And it's what I taught you with this physiological sigh in reverse. You're going to breathe in through the mouth, longer on the inhale, and you're not going to think about the exhale. It'll be short exhale. But if we just did 5 of these, if you don't have a contraindication, notice what happens in your body. So I like to kind of purse my lips a little bit because you're breathing in and out through your mouth. So my mouth gets a little dry. I make more saliva that way, but we did 5 together in 3, 2, 1. Deep breath into the belly, through the mouth, into the chest. Relax and let go. Into the belly. Relax and let go. 3 more. Probably feel a little energized. You got a little heat happening in the body. And what has happened is we actually took the blood flow away from the prefrontal cortex, went into the muscles. So we're changing your state. So then you can actually get into going away from the beta, the conscious mind, the ruminating thoughts, into a little bit of that creativity into the subconscious mind. And that's where you can come up with new ideas, maybe do Mel Robbins practice 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and go and take action and find yourself in a different state. So I think it's important to know, like, I don't want to be in that active state all the time. I
Mm,
want to become consciously aware. If I've been there too long, let's down regulate. But if
mm,
I've down regulated and I'm really in a lower vibration, you can change your state just by using your breath.
mm. How do we know what state we're in if
Uh,
we're not aware?
I just notice how you're breathing. If you're in and out shallow through the mouth and there's no longer exhale, if you're not actually allowing for that breath to make a vibration in the body, you might want to stimulate the vagus nerve by allowing that long exhale. The vagus nerve is the largest nerve in the body, from the brain to every organ, and it lets the body know it's safe. If you don't feel safe, or you find you're really in reaction, reacting to things that could be small, and you're reacting in a big way, not proud of how you showed up at that moment, all of these might be indications that it's time to, dim the lights for a little bit. Let's take you out of fight, flight, freeze into rest, digest, and heal, and homeostasis, regulate again. You've
Mm,
got tension in the shoulders, in the neck, in the traps. If you find you're a bit nauseated, maybe you just, again, all can be signals in the body. If little things irritate you, could be another signal that, you know what, I just need to breathe in through the nose longer on the exhale.
mm. Hmm. I love that fun fact. I always tell my people, even just simply elongating your exhale. So your exhale is longer than your inhale. You're really focusing on the exhale. One of the ways that you said actually when you breathe in for the activation, but you can also purse your lips as well on the exhale when you're doing like either the physiological sigh or just breathing out because you're kind of slowing that airflow a little bit and you're being a little more intentional because you don't typically purse your lips when you breathe out, I don't think. And that even just that is helpful to down regulate the nervous system a little bit and really ground yourself for a second. And I mean, you can pair it with a lot of things, right? Like a little grounding practice or a little mindfulness, but just the act of using a longer exhale than inhale, you're going to stimulate the parasympathetic system, which can be very relaxing, which is also why our bodies, like I think one of the things I love about breath work is you aren't really, you're doing so many things that you're not realizing. Our bodies naturally, when we're really stressed out and you're like, that was probably so loud. I'm so sorry, listeners. But you do a really loud sigh, your body is trying to regulate itself. That's your body's way of doing its own physiological sigh and trying to make a longer exhale. And so I always say that too. Catch yourself when you catch yourself doing a sigh. Oh, maybe that's an indication that my system is a little too upregulated right now, a little too tense. And let me use that sigh as the reminder of, oh, I can breathe out a little bit longer. I can take a couple moments when you're driving. I mean, we all have like 30 seconds standing in an elevator on your way to your office and do a couple exhales. Your body's naturally doing it. It's just bringing a little more mindfulness to it.
Animals do it all the time. You see dogs do it, but
Yeah.
I love that kids, the wisdom of the body is incredible. We've just blocked it out. We've gotten into such a fast pace in life,
Yeah.
and but kids, if they are feeling big feelings and then they start crying, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're innately doing the physiological sigh.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. I feel like, was it that breathwork journey? I don't remember. Sometime recently when I was crying, I've never really noticed myself do it so much naturally as an adult, but recently it might have been our breathwork journey. I can't remember, but I was like, oh, this is interesting. Like my body is naturally doing the physiological sigh, which I don't know if that's new for me. It seems new because I haven't remembered doing it like that often when I cry, but you can catch yourself a little bit. Sometimes you will. If you get a good cry on, like a good a good release, which is also what breathwork can do, right?
I was just going to say, sometimes people can be a little afraid of
Yeah.
us journey. And what I would really love to do is demystify the, first of all, you are in full control the whole way. At any time, if you're in an active somatic breathwork journey, you can close your mouth, breathe through your nose, and I guide you. You do the same. Be the captain of your ship. It's not like you, when we say surrender control, it's like letting your body do what it wants to do. But if you at any time want to slow things down, you want a trusted facilitator, and they will make sure that you know you are safe and held, and we've got you. And if you do lean into somatic breath work, sometimes your body spontaneously does, I call it sweating out the eyeballs, because sometimes I know why I'm crying, sometimes I don't. Uh, you don't relive anything. It's like you're a detached witness. So it's not something to be afraid of that way. Sometimes I laugh hysterically. I'm not even sure why, but
Mhm.
that be old shame coming out of my body. A lot of people yawn. Some people tremor, like tremble,
Yep.
and shake. And sometimes it's interpretive dance. So if you are curious, do reach to a facilitator and have a consultation. Make sure you know you get your questions answered, because it's not something to be afraid of. It's something that if you can embrace and give it a try, it can be life changing.
Mm, mm. I was thinking about that earlier when you said something about control because I tend to enjoy being in control. That's why when I even drink alcohol, like I've never blacked out. Like I have a lot of you could say like too many control issues, but I like to be in control. But one of my things that I really love about breathwork is like you are in control in a way and you're giving that control away to your body and you but you are in control of how deep you're going, and I think that's what really intrigued me the most about breathwork initially was it's not this like plant medicine journey, and we don't have to go there, but for me, and I've never done one, so I'll preface this with I'm not saying this from like a well-educated or experiential position, but for me, the hang up around plant medicines is so many things, but one is that you're I don't really feel that you're really in control because you don't know how your body's going to respond to the plant medicine. If you have a little bit of a lower tolerance and you take a little bit more, whatever. There's so many conversations to have around there. But with breath work, you're in control the whole time. And it's this permission slip, especially for someone that really likes control. I think that's why I like breath work so much, is that you're giving yourself again. And I love that you're reminding, like with a trusted facilitator, with someone that really helps create that container of safety, because you need to have that container to then be able to fully unravel, and you're giving yourself that. And if you feel like, oh, this is a little bit too much, this is starting to feel a little too uncomfortable, a little unsafe in whatever way, shape, or form, I'm going to breathe through my mouth and I can come right back out of it. And then I can dip my toe back in when I feel ready to join the journey again. And that to me, I think is one of the most powerful pieces of the resistance that some people do have around breath work when we haven't experienced it yet. I'm curious what other common resistance or pieces of resistance that you come up against when you're maybe having a conversation with a new client that you might feel inclined to share and demystify for us.
So first of all, I love that you have breath with you at all times.
Yeah.
And you can literally get high on your own supply. And
Yeah.
it's like, if you knew how you could feel different in your body just by changing your breath pattern, that can make a big difference. And I'm certain you do the same. If anybody is interested, I do a complimentary discovery call to establish that safety and that trust. And in those calls, people will say, will this be against my religion? And that is just a question that I will have. And so
Yep.
about that. And all religions are welcome in my practice at any time. But if there are things that they're wondering, like ask the questions. And it can be a very spiritual experience, but it's not a religious experience. So you bring you and your belief systems to the practice. The breath just amplifies whatever that is. People will say this is woo woo, and I'll
Mhm.
say it's actually physiology and neuroscience. And at the same time, it can really help you in your overall energetic atmosphere, which also can be measured by science. So if they want to talk neuroscience, I'm absolutely happy to do that. They want to talk physiology, I'm happy to do that. But what I love is it's the cross section between the two in a big way. What else do people? I think the biggest thing is people don't want to relinquish control. What is my
Mhm.
body to do? What if I say something or do something? And even I was a little concerned because I seem to keep things together, or so I believe.
Mhm.
And I thought, what if I fall apart? I look after so many people in so many different areas of my life. I don't have time to fall apart. And the reality is you're not going to fall apart. There might be some healing, there may be some emotion, but you come back in a more aligned, powerful, healed state through breath. And breath has been done for centuries. Breath work you're hearing more and more now. I think it's because we've gone so far into pharma that we are starting to come back to these other practices that are established and safe and really, really powerful.
Yeah.
So just know it's a safe modality. You are the captain of your ship, but at the same time, if you want to feel different in your body and your mind and optimize your life and your joy and your expansion in different ways, breathwork can definitely be a really fast tool for people to see great results.
Mm. Thank you. I think those are some really good popular thoughts or common thoughts that I definitely get with my clients as well. So thank you for sharing all of that. So I know that you have been having lots of really great conversations lately on podcasts. And one of my favorite questions to ask is what is something that you wish more people would ask you about or that you could talk more about? And this could be super breathwork related. It can be related to anything that you do in your business or your life as well.
Oh, that's a good question. I think most people come to me because they're they're stuck or there's a problem, they're looking to change, they're
Yep.
looking for transformation because things aren't great. And I will hold space and I would love working with people with whether it's grief and loss, whether it's addiction loops, whether it's uh, trauma of all sorts, whether it's anxiety, burnout, panic attacks. These are people that come to me quite generally. And I wish people would come knowing they will feel better. They will be empowered with tools to optimize their life. Like I can tap into areas in them that they didn't even know were there in the way of potentiality, like to take their life that's already good and give them some tools and then open the door to what else is possible. So I wish people would say, can you help people that are so happy in life open up that even more? So I think, yeah, because I think everybody's absolutely worthy of feeling good in their body, having clarity in their mind, and realizing that they're capable of even more than they thought.
Mm. It's the we always reach out, not always. We tend to reach out when we are at rock bottom, when we are having the panic attacks, when we are so fed up with work that we just blew up at our boss and quit, or we're so fed up in our relationship that we're either one breath away from leaving or we have already left And we don't have to get to that place. We can get to, we can come and help ourselves and explore tools when we're in either a um, average space or, like you're saying, a good space. Like, I'm happy with my life right now and I want to explore this. And what you're doing is you're not only helping yourself in the moment, but you're also setting yourself up for the future, because shit does happen, you know? People do die, people leave, you lose your job, you lose your home, bad weather comes, you know, like the storms are going to come. That's the one constant of life, is that life is not constant. And how am I supporting myself through each and every season? And oftentimes it's, yeah, we wait until we like cannot stand anymore, and we don't have to. So thank you for that reminder. Like, breath is good whether you're good or bad, and come for all of it. Come if you're broken, come if you're down, come if you're crawling in, but also come if you're jumping in. And that I love, like, again, like witnessing different people in different journeys. Like, some people are like, dang, I was feeling good. And like that just elevated it tenfold. And that's beautiful to witness. And it's absolutely beautiful to witness and hold someone when they're feeling like they're unraveling, and then watching them ravel back in, put themselves back together in that second half of the breathwork journey. Like, it's all beautiful and all welcome. So thank you for that reminder. I love that. Yeah. So last question. Well, actually, I'm sorry. Before last question, you said come check me out, come join the newsletter, and I know that you're also very active on Instagram, and if they listeners are interested in that cinematic journey and then the 5-minute breathwork journey, where do you hang out the most? How can people connect with you? How can they follow up and learn a little bit more about your specific form of breathwork, and just connect with your beautiful energy?
Thank you so much. My website is tabatha.online. So TABATHA.online. And I'm Tabatha Debruyn on Instagram and Facebook. And I would love to get to know your listeners who might be curious about what it is that I offer and how connected you and I are, how similar.
Yeah, I love it. So, last question. If the world could only remember one feeling from your work, what would that feeling be? What would you want that feeling to be?
Unconditional love.
Wow. Hmm, that's beautiful. We don't experience that a lot. I don't know if you think about that often, but unconditional love. How often do you experience conditional love versus unconditional love? That's beautiful.
Thank you for asking that question.
Yeah. Well,
That's my truth.
you feel that. I do. I will say I felt incredibly safe for someone that I've had a conversation with one time before doing a breathwork journey with. You also create such a beautifully safe container, and you hold very safely and very powerfully. You hold space, and you hold, like, I felt held the whole time. And you don't get that often either. So thank you for that. That's really a gift.
Appreciate
Thank you so much for coming on. This was a fun conversation. I always love spending time with you.
it. It was. Yes. Thank you very, very much.